During this weekend, I've been able to play XDefiant once more since they decided to put up another playtest. As many of you might know, XDefiant is an upcoming free-to-play shooter by Ubisoft that has been delayed over and over again due to several reasons. There has been rumors talking about possible release dates before, but apparently that didn't really happen. The question though is, when will it be released? Because after playing hours of this playtest once more, I have to say that I'm a bit disappointed, meaning I was hoping for much more improvement since the last playtest I was playing performance-wise, but that's not really the case. Sure, the meaning of this public playtest is a stress test when it comes to the testing and stressing the servers, but man, there's not any significant improvement since the last playtest. It almost feels worse, or felt worse to be honest, since the players are facing, and I did as well, server issues and therefore experiencing desync, bullets not registered properly, being shot even though it looks as if you got into cover, maybe getting around a corner when dying. One of the biggest problems during the last playtest was hit detection. They delayed the game around a year, but it seems as if they haven't still been able to fix this. It actually almost felt worse than before. And this is a pity since the game overall, meaning the concept of this arcadish free-to-play shooter, is good and fun from time to time, and the fact that it doesn't have any skill-based matchmaking will also for sure attract a lot of players eventually. But right now, the fundamentals of this game isn't there, and it's a shame considering how long time they've had to fix this. Again, I'm talking about the servers, netcode, desync, etc. If your bullets aren't registering properly or they aren't hitting where they are supposed to, and where you are on the map is not exactly where an enemy see you on the map, and of course the opposite around, then there will be quite some issues to deal with since we're talking about the core fundamentals of the FPS video game. So does that mean it's all the shit show then and we don't have anything to look forward to? No, that's not really the case, because the design of the game when it comes to maps, the guns, everything else I would say is okay or good. And as many has mentioned before, it does feel a bit like playing older card games, which is not a bad thing at all. As a matter of fact, I want this game to become good, since I don't play so much Call of Duty nowadays, so a fun and good arcade shooter is definitely welcome in my book. But in order to enjoy the full aspect of the game, the bullet registration and server netcode has to be in place. Then and only then, I'll also start to talk more about what this game is really about and other things in the game, and also start investing more time into it if the game actually releases soon. I truly hope that they are able to fix this, but as said earlier, they've had about a year to do something about it, and here we are, and the performance still hasn't really improved. What does this mean when it comes to a future release, or a release that might happen soon? Well, they have a few options. The best scenario is of course if they actually can do something about the performance in the game that we yet haven't seen, at least not when playing the playtests. If that happens and they nail it, then the game has potential to become a pretty successful free-to-play arcade shooter with no skill-based matchmaking involved either. But if they are still standing still, you might say, not really being able to address the issues mentioned, then they either have to delay the game even further in hope of solving the issues long term before a release, or worst case scenario, they can't fix it, meaning this is what we'll get at launch with maybe some smaller updates and patches down the line, but the game will overall still suffer, meaning performing at a mediocre kind of level. That would be bad and most likely kill off the game pretty fast, especially among PC gamers, I believe. I like to play as a sniper in most FPS games, and I've been doing that for a very long time, and since I did enjoy the former playtest to a certain extent, besides the performance problems, I do once more hope that XDefiant can improve on all areas mentioned. Since there's not so many similar arcade FPS shooters out there that plays like XDefiant, and since the Call of Duty franchise hasn't been doing that well over the last couple of years, then there's definitely room for a shooter such as XDefiant, and a very good opportunity therefore for Ubisoft to fill a gap, if you will. Since a lot of content creators wants to label XDefiant as a COD killer, I wouldn't go that far to say that, which I don't believe that's the case really. Too many times, to be honest, I've heard similar statements, for example when it comes to tactical shooter called World War III that I've covered before on my channel, becoming a battlefield killer, which did not happen, partly due to similar reasons that XDefiant are facing right now, meaning performance and server issues. Not only that, but it was a part of it. Okay, instead I believe that XDefiant, if it gets fixed accordingly, can serve as a free-to-play option, an arcade shooter experience with gameplay that Call of Duty players for sure will appreciate, alongside with the more ambitious packed games that Call of Duty nowadays has become. Again, there's a good opportunity for Ubisoft, not only when it comes to what Call of Duty might be lacking or not, but when it comes to new FPS titles overall. Since it has been pretty hard to find good FPS games to play recently, at least I've been having this kind of problem. And especially also if you don't want to go back into a more competitive scene, competitive shooters experiences such as Counter-Strike and similar titles. With that said, I'll go ahead and play a bit more when it comes to the remaining playtest during this weekend, and maybe we'll see a bit of improvement already during this playtest weekend, who knows, that would of course be really nice. I also want to add, especially since there's been quite some criticism in this video, that I'll be the first to share improvements, since I do miss these style of games that XDefiant represents. So when the release happens, I have no problems to say that I'm happy to see that they have been able to turn it around, if you will, and also that I was partly wrong, being too pessimistic, meaning not really believing that they're able to make further performance improvements in the game. I guess my point of view at the moment has to do with a long experience of playing FPS games and also being disappointed many times when an anticipated title has been released, just to realize that it never really improved much during its life cycle. Let's hope that's not the case with the upcoming XDefiant shooter game. Fingers crossed. With that said, my friends, I'm looking forward to hear your thoughts and experiences when it comes to XDefiant and maybe the playtest currently ongoing. If you believe that the game performance and service will improve further, or if you, like me, have a bit of a hesitant kind of feel when it comes to the upcoming release of XDefiant. With that said, I want to say thanks for watching, and I do hope to see you soon again in an upcoming video on my channel. I'll keep an eye on XDefiant, of course, also in the nearby future and a possible release. Take care and have a beautiful day. Later.